You are listening to Within Tolerance, a podcast for machinists by machinists. I'm your host, Dylan Jackson of Protein Machining. And this week, after a few weeks, I got Zap back on the podcast. He's done a lot of traveling. I've been crazy busy. So another update episode. Zap, start us off. Give us a lowdown on the last month.
Like the last time we recorded was in person with Justin. Is that right?
I don't know, but I know you were about to go to the UK the last time I talked to, at least. I think. Right.
So we've been crazy busy and things have been pretty nuts. I mean, I would say the highlight-ish of the last couple weeks is definitely going to the UK, you know? Mm-hmm. Hanging out with Simon. I spent a lot of time with Simon. He's he's just such a fucking good dude, you know? He let me stay at his house. Stayed at his house for quite a few days, basically a week's worth of time, which was incredible. And had breakfast and stuff for me and whatever else. It was cool. He would drop me off at Evolve in the morning, which was awesome. Cause ultimately we were so busy and things were not going. Things have been kind of rocky, I would say, but we were recovering. But I ended up working a majority of the time that I was in the UK, full 8-hour days, and having Evolve, which thanks to Matt and everything for allowing me to use the desk. But I just worked, did a lot of programming and whatever else. I will say the 8-hour time difference was so to the West Coast was so nice. I was oh man, I have not really experienced uninterrupted work time during a weekday in so long, you know, that having being able to work from basically 8-ish to noon or so without anyone fucking talking to me was so beautiful, you know. The downside obviously being that people are hitting me up at midnight or whatever was fucking disgusting, but it was a good trip. It was a really, really good trip. I had my birthday over there. I was with Simon and his family.
Belated.
Huh?
Happy
thanks. Yeah. And yeah, I have a picture of Simon. Simon had gave me 2 chocolate croissants with candles in them, which is very funny. And gave me
I was
birthday.
really glad that we talked just as you were coming back, and I was very worried because you were working so much over there that it was not going to feel like a vacation. But it sounds regardless, you came back feeling energized, and maybe not as much rest as you had hoped, but it wasn't a waste of a trip.
It was a really, exactly. I feel good about it. Ultimately, obviously, part of the big shout out to Simon is it did save me a ton of money because I was there for 2 weeks, not having to worry about too much transportation or hotels. I still stayed in hotels when I was in Bristol or in London. When I got my tattoos, my head is finished now, you know. And then I started on my chest. And
on your chest? I thought your chest was full already.
No. I did I guess I don't know if you can see it, but
I can see some of it. Yeah.
Pop up a little bit.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, there's always a little bit of space. You know what I mean? And yeah, that was great. But it was really wild. I didn't realize how burned out I was until I was over there and kind of. In this, I was man, I was just so beat for the first week or so, you know? And we were getting one customer in particular was yelling at us a lot, which was pretty frustrating. But he ultimately ended up was I'll get into that in a second. I'll just finish the UK stuff, but really good time. Had some good hangs with the family over there and really just got to chill out a little bit. It was good. I do feel the day coming back was a lot of travel. That was 24 straight hours of travel or something like that to get from London to back to San Francisco, or back to my aunt's place in the Bay Area. Because I had like a 4 or 5 hour layover in Boston. Because the initial idea was to hang out on the East Coast, on like to bookend it, which I kind of did on the way there, but then I didn't get to do on the way back because we were just so busy. And then just kind of like went right back into it. But no, I'll go back in probably like 6 months a year or something like that. It's cool. Evolve is sick. Like, eventually Matt will be on once that time's out. But like,
we got a mic kit sitting with Simon for the UK guest. That's gonna make it easy.
Yeah, that kit was dope. The kit's dope. Yeah. With like the 3D printed shit. It's cool.
I was stoked how that came out. Like, it took me too many revisions, but I'm happy with what
that's the beauty of 3D printing, right? Is like just being able to like, well, try it. All right, whatever. Fucking make an adjustment, try again, and just go like do something else without having to like really think about it. I guess on the like 3D printing, one of like the coolest things about hanging out with Simon, his kid George, who's like 10, is like very into like the 3D printing manufacturing stuff. Like, he put a couple videos up, or I think they're on Evolve's page, or whatever, of Simon's kid like running the machines, which is really cool. And he's like flying around the control. And like he like 3D printed me like a little birthday card thing, which was like very nice. And he's using like a real CAD system, like not Fusion, but he's using Onshape, which is like that's the real deal. It's not like Tinkercad or something like that,
Yeah.
And he does it like Justin does it, the fucking maniacs that they are, which is like just on a laptop, just with the trackpad. It's like, this is disgusting. Like, I don't know why you guys do this to yourselves, but they do it. And I would really like Justin to go over there. I think that would be like, outside of like him, just like him and Simon being able to like ride their bikes like fucking maniacs, like him and George like chopping it up, doing weird shit would be cool. Outside, like, I've been mostly outside of that, I was like mostly in the Bay Area. Like, most of our work has been in the Bay Area, which has been cool. And well, most of, I guess, my work. We have work all over the place. Like, we're doing projects in LA, in Pennsylvania, in Minnesota, just kind of like everywhere. We're like quoting some shit in like Oregon, and Colorado and shit, which is like cool. We've done a lot of work on our like system internally with like Asana and like Box and whatever else, and like have a really good, I would say like pretty good base,
Mm-hmm.
It was really interesting because like Michael Morton and we were like chatting because like we have the sales side, I think, pretty much down. We have like a really good, like the new way that we're billing is just, it makes it so easy to like fire up new projects and like quote people and whatever else, and like kind of tune the project based on like the number of hours based on what they're looking for. It's like just programming or programming and on-site support or whatever. And like, that's really nice. Like we've fully now transitioned the website to basically explain like this new way of doing it. Like, that's live. It's been live for like a few weeks now. And I think we did that right around the time of the Kern event, was when that went live. And it's come in handy where like people, it's kind of interesting because people have reached out and it's like, well, what's it cost? It's like, well, let's go to the website and like take a look, and it's like, we're just like pretty much like fully transparent pricing at the moment. Probably forever. There's just no reason for it to be anything like other than that, really. And that's been fucking good. But what we found was like as we've gone and we're going so fast is like a lot of like little holes in the process, which have caused like massive delays to like projects, and like the delays like compound, you know, obviously like in terms of like the schedule and what all we can accomplish. And so we've gotten some good projects, and then like and with good customers, but it's like we weren't like as dialed in as we should have been. And so we show up a little bit unprepared, which is a little embarrassing when you're like holding the customer to like, we need all this shit before we show up. And then we show up and we're not ready. It's like, oh, goddamn, this is my bad. And that extends the timeline in a way where it's like, we can't, like we're doing everything based on hours, but if we fuck up, we can't be like, well, our bad, you owe us like an extra $10,000 because it took longer for us to fix our own mistakes. Doesn't really work like that. And so there's always like a fine balance, and like that's been, and like that happened, like this was like right before the UK, where that happened on like basically every fucking project we're working on, where they all kind of went a little bit sideways in ways that were like we just didn't foresee. But it also in a way that it's like if we did a little bit more work before we got on site, this would be smooth, you know. Things like the tool holders being a little bit too short or whatever, and it's like, oh, we had them order the wrong tool holder, and so it's like now we have to fix that, and that's like a day plus a little bit of reprogramming, whatever. Like, oh, we missed a feature, so that's a tool, and yada yada. So we've like made some changes to our process where more or less like just like a review process. It takes like 30 minutes, like just run through what you're doing with me right now, or what we're planning to do, or like what I'm going to go implement on site, and like see if we have all of our bases covered. Cause at the end of the day, like it's better to push the customer off, like be like, hey, sorry, we're not as prepared. So we're going to take like an extra week, or whatever, rather than show up and like waste the week fucking around on site, like, which has a lot like deeper implications in terms of like optics and everything, which is kind of frustrating and annoying, but like we've learned a lot from it. And so like our quoting process has changed, our review process, or like our whole process is like very different right now. And so it sucks because like it doesn't help going backwards, you know? And so we still have to deal with like all of these things like compounding, where like, oh, I was expecting like some good examples, like again, like with like I think this is a running theme, is like most of our fusion stuff just takes a hit because at the moment I'm the only one that's doing it. Though Doug, like right before I went to the UK, I implemented, I mean, like, not that it's like very groundbreaking, but like we clock hours to jobs, you know? And so like we created like an additional project that we just called development. And it's like, I want to see like 5 hours a day on something. Right now, I want that thing to be fusion. I want everybody spending, or not 5 hours a day, 5 hours a week, 5 hours a day would be crazy. It's like more than half your day to just like fuck around. But like, now I've had basically everybody spending about a week, like, or an hour a day every week, like fucking around with fusion, you know, to get everybody up to speed, and really just like not the ideal situation being like, it's not a high pressure zone, you know, like when Steven started, he was familiar with he thought he was familiar with Mastercam, you know, because he had used it before, but like it'd been so long, it was basically like starting over. And this caused like, which is, I mean, like that's my fault, right? Like, and we didn't really come up with the like proper game plan until a couple weeks in, but like we were able to like recover pretty quickly, because like a lot of the time was spent, like we probably spent like a week and a half. It sounds crazy, but like a week and a half or so, like getting all the tools together, because we're doing like an 8-part like share key in titanium on like on an MX100, which is like pretty gnarly, you know. It's not like nothing. It's like it's doing like a whole assembly for a firearm part, and I'm like doing this, so you could probably guess what that is.
right into the fire with that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and so yeah, exactly. But it's like Steven's a turning guy, and we like and whatever, and so like and having to like learn Mastercam on the fly was like a bit tough, but we pivoted because we have Esprit, and Esprit has a very, very cool thing that they do where like you don't have to buy a post from them for a machine that you don't have. You can rent the post. They'll rent you any post that they have for $350 a month. Which is like the full machine model by the like in most cases. Amazing. Like it's super cool. And so we like had a post already from X2, but it was just like not licensed. So we just like paid Esprit like $350 and we got the license, and then just like switched it around to like, oh, because the customer doesn't care. They don't have any software. Like they either program it by hand or they have us program it. So like to them, all they're getting is NC files. Like what we do it in just doesn't matter. And right, like this is the shame on me, is like I should have just had Steven do it in Esprit or to begin with. But it's like we have Mastercam, like we have a post in Mastercam, like, and I'm thinking about it with my brain, and it's like I made the transition from Esprit to Mastercam in like a week, so it's like how hard could that be? It's not quite the same. And so like that's been like a fairly like existential crisis of an issue there. It's just like I don't like, oh, this shouldn't be that hard, but it's like it's just different, you know?
Right.
And so all of that to say like learning from that is allowing people to learn fusion kind of at their own pace in a way that doesn't create like a pressure cooker situation. So they're not like, I mean, some people perform well under pressure, some people don't, you know?
Right.
But like,
you're not like throwing them a job that has to be in fusion. Like,
right.
Figure it out. Like,
yeah,
2 weeks.
And like it ultimately paid off because our customer in Minnesota, they use Gibbs, and we're like, fuck that. We're not going to use Gibbs on your DVF. Like we programmed for them in Fusion. Doug was learning Fusion, and they're like we can't. We were attempting to do some full 5, and I'm sure somebody's gonna reach out and tell me that the fucking DVF is awesome at full 5 after they spent like months and months tuning it in or whatever. But for us, like listening to the apps guy and the fucking high speed codes, the thing looked like fucking dog shit, you know?
It
like
was one of the worst parts of it.
It was insane how bad, like, and it just like however their machine is set up, it was definitely not tuned out of the box to do full 5. And like, unfortunately for this job, like that's like for this project, that's not us. Like we're not going to spend that time to do that. We just changed everything to 3+2. But the guy was like, it's kind of choppy. And then he sent those pictures, and it's like, dude, it looks like you tried to shape the fucking part with a chisel. Like, what the fuck is going on? And it does great in 3+2. Like, it cuts fine. Like, it roughs okay. It's positioning okay. The machine, like, the part's measuring fine. But the full 5 is just like, Doug said it was like, once he got eyes on it, it was like, it would like, the axes were out of sync, you know? Ooh. Like, it would move like the rotary axes and the linear axes, like out of order. Like it would rotate and then move and then rotate and move. And so it was just gouged to shit. Even just like a simple like swarf, it was just like, they're like, nah. But
yeah, it wasn't like super complex surface.
No.
Like it was fairly just round. With
yeah,
some
like
cut stuff. Like
the path that we got out of, like we used just like the geodesic, like click to 5, whatever, like ran it through Camplate. It was like almost as ideal of a 5-axis path as you could ask for, where it just kicked the B at an angle, and it's rotating C and just doing like this move. And it's like, yeah, that's like nice. That's what you want. It's not doing like anything like whippy or whatever. We're not doing like an impeller blade, which is like a whole other fucking thing that we're dealing with right now. but like it was so bizarre. But that was like leading up to that was like the customer kind of like not really like we were giving them code. They want it done now, but the communication was super sloppy. And then it got to this like the 5-axis stuff being like really fucked up. And then they're like, can we get somebody in here? And the guy's like 45 minutes from Doug. And so he was able to go over there. And because he was learning, he had been working in Fusion, he was able to like just pick it up, you know, and like finish it. So like we had a couple conversations like where like it was kind of like when we were doing the swarfing stuff, because he like the way that the swarf path was like repositioning itself, and how that translated into Camplete or whatever, or maybe it's just how the path went. It was doing like this arcing move of like it would cut on the right side, but then it would go like way past on the like almost like 90 degrees the opposite direction in the B to like reposition to like then go back. It was fucking bizarre. And so we had like a 30-minute where it's like I think it was just like a quirk of, I don't know, the post or whatever. What we ended up doing to make it work, and it's so fucking dumb because it was like, oh, we'll do a semi-finished pass, a finished pass, and a spring pass, right? We just broke those up into separate tool paths, and that's what ended up doing it, which is like dumb. But like having you done stupid shit with Fusion like that before, it's like Doug is like, why is this not working? Is this a Camplete thing? Is this a Fusion thing? Whatever. And it's like it's like, well, let's take a look, you know? And I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. And after like 30 minutes of like fucking around with it, I just like tried that, you know? Cause it's like, it's in the positioning. So maybe if we just make it not do the retract or force the retract a different way, it'll like be happier. And it was, but customer's super fucking stoked that Doug was able to come, and like get that one over the finish line. We've more or less like committed to just like get like just sending Doug to the customer until the job is like finished, even though like basically it's probably mostly just like running the machine or whatever. But the guy like was they're like farmers or whatever with a fucking DVF, and
so weird.
It's very weird. This was a really funny one because they like when they sent us the print, it was a 2-page print, and they're like, here's the redacted print, and they redacted it off the first page, but not the second page. So like we saw who the customer was. I was like, hey, like FYI, and they're like, oh yeah, we saw that. And like that's kind of turning into like a very interesting opportunity for us because they're like, oh, they have like a brand new UMC just like sitting there still in plastic wrap. Like that they're like, you know, they're like trying to like up their game a little bit, but they just don't have like the like their main 5-axis programmer is also the shop manager, is also like kind of working like part-time, like is like most like seems like a farmer primarily. So it's like, well, this is like, we could probably turn that into like a better situation for everybody involved. Like the local guys work. I mean, having people that are local is awesome, you know, like being in the Bay Area primarily now is been cool. Cause like I can kind of like bounce around to places, you know? And that's been pretty sweet. Oh, so like, yeah, there was that, like that whole thing with like the development aspect of it. And that was coming from me talking about Fusion. Yeah, Fusion's been a fucking huge bottleneck for us. And like, I know that there are people that listen to this that we're doing work with that are like very upset with me right now. And I'm like very apologetic. And like, it's super fucking difficult to like balance everything. And like some things where it's like, oh, this, like I can knock this out. But like when all the, like when we were doing all of our scheduling like a few months ago and like taking on work, like because a lot of it was based around like, oh well, you know, if we do our shit like this, and like with the underline, like with the subtext being, and we don't fuck up, then we can like do XYZ, like kind of filling in gaps. But then all the gaps got filled with us like having to like fix shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that like it just pushes things off over and over. Like we had a like so there was two interesting things I would say that happened, which is like our customer in Arizona was the first one that we basically walked away from the project because like they were like one like super duper demanding, and which is like fine, we're used to that, but they didn't really pay like on time and accordingly, which was like also very frustrating. And then they just like were not prepared for us at all in ways that were like, well, we're just wasting our fucking time here, and like we don't schedule to waste our fucking time. Like they gave us a tool library and that like might as well have not existed because a lot of the tools weren't built or in the machine. So it's like, right, what's the fucking point of this if you have to build it from scratch anyway? Yeah. Or they were built and they were built wrong. And then they tried to build, like in one case, they tried to build the tool correctly, and it like the heat shrink extension fell out of the heat shrink holder while we were cutting, which was fucking wild because the engagement was so small. Like, whew, that was like nuts. Like it just fell out. The like they designed all the fixtures, which is like fine. But it's like, okay, so I have the part off of the like my first op done. How do I use the fixture? And they were like, that's a good question. Like, what the fuck do you mean? You don't know. It's like, what's the order of operations here? And the guy who designed it was like, well, I envisioned it to work like this. It's like, but it can't fucking work like this. Like, I envisioned the part to slide. It's like two things with that is like the part that you expect it to be stationary has a designed gap of like 20 thou. So it can't float in space and do nothing. And then the sliding aspect of it is like, well, you can't slide it because there's shit in the way, so as to like drop on. And that was like all of that was like hours and hours and hours of fucking bullshit. Every fucking like
customers like this who just don't design half the process insanely bad.
Yeah.
And then expect you to like do your magic.
Yeah, that's the part. It's like, what do you want me to do? And then it's like, well, we're ready to go. Get us the part. Like, give it to them in QC. 24 hours later, like, I was like, do we have anything from that part at all? And they're like, nope, no data. Sick. Didn't order the tools that we asked for. Just built whatever. So tools were breaking, and that was like, it was just like we ran out of hours. We gave them way more time than we should have, and I was like, hey, here's everything we've done. This is what's fucked up. We reworked. Like, here's the program. I like once they start changing tools and stuff, it's like cycle time. Like, I'm not guaranteeing fucking anything. Process reliability, cycle time, whatever. You guys made a decision to not give us what we told you we needed. So now we don't guarantee anything. We have that written in our documentation, like that we provide too. Is like when we do, we have a turnkey guarantee document that we do, that we give with turnkeys, basically that we'll get the part within 3 shots, within a certain percentage of the cycle time, assuming that scope doesn't change, tools don't change, whatever, and that nullifies. So as soon as like the things start shifting around, it just kills the whole thing. You know what I mean? Right. 'Cause it's like, well, we can't like, it would be like, oh yeah, I want, I don't know, like we need like power grip, or we need this heat shrink tool. And they're like, well, which is like, actually, this is what happened is like, we want this tool to be in a heat shrink holder and a heat shrink extension. And they were like, they just built it they did call it actually. So God. And the tool, you could just hear it just bounce. It was just like, and then it just snapped like almost instantly. And that's when I was like, all right, I'm fucking done with this. Yep. Like, we're done here. Like, here's all our shit. Like, they're like, oh, we really need to get this done. If we could get the parts in QC, blah, blah, blah. It's like, there's just like, where did this timeline come from? You guys aren't prepared at all for any of this. It was so fucking annoying. Yeah. Like that one, it's weird because like initially it's like, oh, I feel kind of bad, but like we did all the shit that we were supposed to do, you know?
Right.
And it was just like they just they weren't holding up their end of the bargain like at all. And it was like, but this continuing to like pressure us, it's like I can't will this into existence, like it, this is a common theme, okay, like for bigger companies that we work with, is like they hire us and they're like, all right, do your thing, but it's like they treat us like an employee, but they don't onboard us like an employee.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, well, where's our stuff? And like, what do we do here? And it's like, well, like, you just do this and you do that, and like took 12 hours or something like that over the course of 2 days to build like 15 tools. And like half of those tools were library tools that were in their tool library. And it's like, well, this is fucking dumb, dude. The positive experience of that was, oh, I have one more thing on the UK trip that was really cool. The positive thing of that was, of the whole Arizona job, was like just working on DMGs and like getting to like really fuck around with like the Silos control. Or what I like later really found out was like the Siemens control is fucking nice. I was like, I don't know what it is, if I like the Silos stuff or if I like the Siemens stuff. And if it's really as intuitive as it seems, or if I'm just like more used to this type of shit. And like, from what I can tell, the Siemens stuff is good. The DMG shit integration is dog shit, because you just get like all these random ass alarms like that don't mean anything. And like, he was probing, he was showing me how to use the probe, and he like triggered the probe too soon. And he had to call somebody over to like help get it out of alarm. And like part of that ended up being like opening and closing just a random door on the side, and then it was like satisfied, but there was like no way to know that whatsoever. It was a DMC 85 FD duo block, meaning that it had a pallet system, it was a mill turn, and it was a head table 5-axis. The pallet system was dog shit. Like the integration was so poor, especially like I cannot stress enough like how like good the Matsuura shit is. Like I haven't really fucked around with the HSFlex, but like it seems like that's like probably like as good or like second best to it. But like the Matsuura's, huh? Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, people seem to like it, but I just like, the nicest shit about the Matsuura pallet system is like, I want to take this pallet and put it in the machine. I tell it to do just that, and it does everything else. It pulls the pallet out, it fucking puts it in an empty spot, it goes and grabs the other pallet and puts it in the machine. On the DMG, it's like you had to like manually stage each fucking aspect of that, and then eventually like do a fucking pallet change. It's like, this sucks. I fucking hate this. And there's weird Stockholm syndrome around like this shit where it's like, no, it's actually like so good when they run, but sometimes they just like stop working, and you're like, all right, whatever.
I mean, when you spend that much money on a machine, I think that's kind of baked in.
That is, yeah. That I was having a conversation with the Selway guy about that recently when we're talking about like the DVFs versus like a DVF is as much as like a standalone MX machine, like 1-to-1 or something. And like the MX is just a much better choice, like 10 times out of 10. Like there's just, outside of like, I guess if you need the machine like right now, that can get kind of tricky, and that's like really a whole other issue. But like machine to machine, you're like way better off. But it's like nobody's spending that much money on a machine ever and being like, yeah, I fucked it up. This machine sucks and I don't need it. Like you hardly ever fucking get into that situation.
Right. Well, I mean, usually you get that opinion as somebody is fire sailing those machines.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But one of the cooler things that we did in the UK that was like cool, like it was dope, is like I spent the day with Simon. He like picked me up from the train, and we were like hanging out, and like Grobe UK is like up the street, and he made some like bespoke Grobe Freddies for the UK office and for Germany.
Mhm.
And like, so we spent like a couple hours in there, and I got like the UK apps guy just spent like a fuckload of time with me on those machines, like gearing up for a show. And he was just like so happy to like show me like so much of like what's going on. And I was like, really, like, they're just fucking, they're nice. I mean, like, I really want to try it. I mean, I've heard, like, you and I have both heard weird things about them, like not holding size and also the reliability thing. But the thing that I saw, like, that I can like say definitively at least, is the stuff that I liked about the DMG, like the control was like straight Siemens shit. It wasn't like anything that DMG was doing, because it was like all the same shit that I liked was also on the Grobe, and then like they had their own interface or whatever around it as well. And it's like, oh, Siemens.
That was the newest Siemens control, wasn't it? The Siemens 1 or something.
I think so. Yeah, the Simutech
like the interface, or like the new button layout and stuff.
Yeah. Well, they had two versions of it. One with the new version and one with the old version. They had a really cool feature on one where like, and it's like such a simple little deal where like the feed knob and those knobs were like tactile in a way. Like when you hit 100, it would like vibrate at you, you know?
Oh, it's like haptic. I like that.
Yeah, haptic. Yeah. And it was like, oh, that's cool. And like, if you went above, like it was changing colors, you know, when you hit like 100, it would be green. If you were above, it'd be red. And like, there was just like little things about it that were like sick. Just like with like the in shoes, which are like designed for automotive, like the Grubs being like mostly designed for automotive, like the serviceability on them is like out of control. Like it was a brand new machine, so it was like crazy fucking clean inside. But like you can like basically walk into the back of the fucking Siemens. It was, or into the back of the machine. It was like, there's just like a door, like a man door. And you just like walk inside of it. It's like, all right, that's kind of sweet. You don't really see that very much on like any other 5-axis. Like I don't think you can walk into the back of your Hermle, and I definitely can't walk into the back of a Matsura, you know?
I don't know where you would walk.
Yeah.
There's just not that room.
Yeah. It's
the Grobes are packaged. Like it gives you access to a lot of the things like that.
Dude, so like, yeah, things have been like kind of rough, kind of like on the road to recovery. Ended up like hiring another guy. So I think we have 3. It's me, Doug, Steven, Michael for technical stuff, and then like Michael and his wife are on the administrative side. So it's like a much bigger company than we. I definitely did not see it doing this like 6 months ago. You know what I mean?
Right. Overall, like your problems now seem much more manageable than the last time that you were having problems.
Oh yeah, big time.
Like last time it was like everything's on fire. The world is burning down around me, and now it's just like, oh, we're learning the limits of our processes, and we gotta change some stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like we were able to like sit down and like recover, because it's like just like focus on the process and whatever else, and like there's ways around it. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird, like it's the difference, I guess, between like just being a guy, you know, like just a solopreneur dude, just like programming and traveling or whatever, versus like building a business, you know what I mean? With like people to like manage, like which obviously has like a lot more headaches and like, but I don't know. I don't really foresee going back to like ever like tearing it all the way back down again. You know what I mean? You know, there's always the doubts. Like you know how it is. It's like when things go poorly, you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll just fucking burn it all to the ground and like go just have a job. But it's like that lasts for like 5 seconds, and like we've talked about that on here before, like ad nauseum. But like
Yeah, you're not a real business owner if you don't have those days.
Yeah. I don't remember who said it, but like, fuck, who said it? Was it Justin told me about like a Warren Buffett quote or whatever, which is like, you'd really know who's skinny dipping when the tide goes out, you know? Which is like so true. Is like, I mean, it's easy to run a business when things are going well, obviously. Yeah. Like it's the recovery aspect of it all is where like really where the rubber hits the road is like, what do you do when things go bad? Mm-hmm. And like that's tough, you know? So yeah, there's like obviously lots of like sleepless nights and like a lot of like contemplative thinking and like weird like admin shit that like sucks away from being able to be like a technical resource sometimes, but it's just like that's just the way the business is being built now, which is interesting.
Yeah.
The what the fuck else? The shop in San Jose, Miters West. I'm like getting into a lab there, so I have like an office there, which is cool. I'm very excited about that. Like being in there is like a lot of fun. Like those guys are just so much fucking smarter than me. It's like out of control. And it's just like very inspiring place. Like Ethan does some really nutty shit, like just because, you know.
Yeah.
And he's coming on pretty soon, right? Like next week you're recording with him or something? Yeah. I'm really excited for that episode because he's just like, he's a nut. He's just like, he's on some like next level shit. Like everybody in there pretty much is on some next level shit. Like, so that's been like so helpful though to like, it's like 15 minutes from my aunt's place. And like, I can just like go there and like crank work when like, that's like not at home and not a shop also, right. Which is like a really nice balance of things because I can't get like pulled in like weird different directions, which is like incredible. Like I never really thought about having a space like that, you know. And it's been I mean, it really changed our plans because like initially we were going to move the machine to California and whatever else, but we're going to move it to Cleveland and like put it in Toolpath. I think we can say that. That's fine. I mean, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
we could and that's gonna be like sweet. Like it'll make us a little more agile. Like I'm in Boise right now, packing up like starting to pack up like the shop and my portion of the shop and the apartment, like, cause the Boise experiment is over, completely. It's just like, I mean, I fucking haven't been here in like, I think I was doing the math and I was like, I thought it was like 2 or 3 months, but it's actually more like 4 months. I haven't even been here.
Oh, bummer.
So it's like, well, this is fucking useless. Like there's just, Boise is not exactly like a hotbed of work, and like the initial idea about having the machine here and like doing this like shop partnership thing got like immediately convoluted as soon as we got into the space, where it just like didn't make a lot of sense anymore. How like it didn't seem like it's like it felt like I was like, it was so bizarre. I mean, I don't even know how to describe how it went down, but like it got so convoluted almost immediately as soon as paperwork was signed. And I was just like, you know, fuck this. Like, I'm not dealing with this. And so that's pretty much how we've been operating, and then just found some opportunities with like very like some of our like biggest customers, you know, or like, I wouldn't even like really say customer. So it's not really a customer, but like we're doing shit with like we do a lot of shit with Selway, obviously. So being in California makes a lot of sense. And we do a lot of shit with Toolpath. So like partnering, like kind of deepening that partnership also makes sense. So like it like fractures things a little bit, but in a way that like is a lot more like is a lot simpler than me being the primary person to like run the machine or trying to like hire a machinist, you know?
Right.
It just didn't. Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, that basically takes us to here, that's now.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that's
Awesome.
That's me. Fuck, that's 45 minutes. God damn. I was ranting.
Talked in a month, dude.
Yeah.
My time.
Yeah.
All right. I made a bunch of notes because I also had a bunch. I kind of pulled a Andrew Henry and went back through my camera reel to remind myself of like what haven't I said for the past month.
Yeah.
Let's see. Big things. We got all of our PG holders in for the Flex. That was, terrifying to see that much money wrapped up in stuff that I'm not even really using yet.
Right.
But was great to like get everything we needed. I think it's like 109 holders and then 80 or 90 odd, call it something like that.
Yeah.
And that will be fantastic. I can already start setting up standard tools and have all that ready for when the machine shows up. Speaking of the Flex, it got moved up a week, so it should ship next week. I believe a week from today, maybe. Or it's supposed to ship the 2nd, but that's a Sunday, so it'll probably ship like the 3rd. Okay. And it's supposed to be import the 19th, I believe, of November.
That's exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. So probably first week in December, hopefully we can get everybody scheduled and they can come out and start setting it up. Going to be kind of up to the, when riggers can be here, when the electrician can be here, when, techs can be here, all that stuff.
So many moving pieces to like, it still amazes me like how many moving pieces there are to a new piece of equipment that like you would think to a certain extent, like somebody out there would just be like one of these machine tool companies or whatever would just like have electricians and shit like available to just like and just like to handle it. Because even like even like the foundational aspect of it, because we're working on like a quote or like it's one of the like sorry like I'm ranting again, but like the like we're working on this quote unquote done deal project, in California, and like the guys like, okay, we're going to bring in these two pieces of equipment that we have to pour a foundation to do that. And like in the process of doing that, plus power, plus air, we have to move like 20 other pieces of equipment to like get this shit in here. And it's like buying these two machines and like getting them in the building is like a 3 or 4 month endeavor, even though they're both in stock. You're like, the fuck is this? Anyway.
Yeah, we're having machines shipped directly to our riggers, and then they're coming down from Phoenix just to simplify that end of it. Because like, I feel like everyone I know that has bought a machine in the last year, and then tried to schedule rigging with the truck showing up, it just never happens.
Yeah,
like one or the other is always late.
Yeah, or so the truck shows up early and they're like, all right, let's unload this. And it's like, you're early. Fuck you. You have to wait. Like,
so we're just going to ship it directly to them. We're trying a new rigging company that Hermle recommended, and they've put in a bunch of flexes and are continuing to. So they should be pretty well versed with like,
oh, cool.
How many crates and
Hunter
all that stuff. C&M.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. I think we use them a lot at Methods. Yeah. They do good work.
They seem like they're super, super nice people, at least. The person running their team, she was fantastic on the phone so far.
Sick.
The laying stuff is ordered. That took way too long. And then on top of it, we send the money, and usually wires are like, 24 hours. Like I've never had a wire take longer than 24 hours. And this one took 3 days. And so like on day, maybe it took 4 days.
Yeah.
It took 4 days, because on day 3 is when I reached out to Lang and I was like, hey, do you have our money? And they're like, nope, haven't seen it. I was like, that's uncomfortable. And so then I called our bank and they were like, oh, well, you did it in person in a branch and we can't put a trace on it. So you have to go to the branch again and have them put a trace on it. I was like, excuse me? This is your bank. Just put a trace on. Like, what do you think? And they were like, oh, but also, it could take up to 4 days or 3 days to fully send. So you might just want to wait till the end of the day. And then like the next day I got the email from Lang that was like, oh, we got your money. I was like, cool. Okay. But yeah, it was terrifying. I mean, it was like 36 grand, just like who knows where it is.
Yeah.
and getting the having them be like, yeah, we can't do anything. You got to go back to the branch. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work for me.
There are certain things that you're like, why? Like, why did you build this system this way?
Right.
You know, like, what do you mean you can't? Like, I mean, I went to a storage place. I've been paying for a storage unit in Boise for a little bit. That's like been empty, but I went there. I'm like, hey, I wouldn't like want to access this. You need to like do some shit. I need to like go there in person. And he was like, yeah. So I went there and he's like, now download the app. And it's like, and so I download the app and he's like, cool, now just sign up. And I did. And I'm like, so it says I don't have, and he's like, well, you know, he's like, I can let you back there, but you need the app to like get into the unit. It's like, I'm here right now. Like, what is going on? Like, this is so fucked.
Did you see the Always Sunny episode about that, where Dennis goes on like a mental health day?
No.
Like everywhere he goes, they're like, oh, you got to download an app for that. And he's like, I don't want any more apps.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He just like slowly loses his mind over the day.
Yeah.
You'd enjoy that. It's way too close to home.
Yeah, it's just like everything fucking requires a subscription now, and everything's like online. Like like we were chatting yesterday about like the whole AWS thing, and like people's water filters aren't working and their beds stopped working. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? like
maybe we don't need to put everything on
the cloud. Yeah, it's like, good God, it's so out of control. I mean, I think one of the more egregious ones is like an automation company like requiring like a $5,000 a year subscription for your system to like continue to work, and it's like, I'm good. Like, there's just zero part of me that is like very interested in that whatsoever. Like, fuck off.
I completely agree. All right, going down the list.
Yes.
You nailed the shop layout too for the Flex. It's a little different than we wanted because I actually just said it in the episode I recorded with Devin, but we decided to keep the S700. That's a big thing since our last one. Cool. Again, sorry, Ty, who was, working with me and was going to buy the machine. Both Brad and I were just feeling I think we both individually didn't realize the other one was feeling this way, and we talked about it, and we were both feeling a little uncomfortable losing a 3-axis machine because we use it so much, even just for like second ops on the Hermle or whatever.
Yeah.
And we both decided over the weekend, like, no, we need to keep this. Like, it's just a better choice for us, and we can power it, and we figured out space for it. So
yeah, because the loss of the other F or the other S was like, I mean, you're still kind of feeling that now.
Yeah. Yeah, that was more capacity loss than we thought it would, especially with the 4th.
Yeah.
RO system update. I need to have send. I need to design first and then make like a base for the tanks. But I don't think last time we talked, I had decided on tanks or whatever, and we decided to go with, thanks to a bunch of listeners who reached out and suggested it, pressurized RO tanks. So we won't need a pump. We won't need a float. Yeah. It will have 80 gallons on tap, and then it'll refill.
Nice.
It should work, and it should be. I'm going to package it all in that closet by the sink.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull the little storage shelf out of there and put everything in there. And
nice.
It'll just feed through the wall to where the hose already is, and it should be good to go.
Yeah.
Finished all my 3D printed collet holders. So we went from those puzzle piece ones that are on my website to grid line ones from Hoffman, and I just designed a bunch for ERs and PGs, and I really needed to get all the puzzle pieces out because we have so many more collets now. That like it was imperative to have a place to put them all.
Right.
So that worked out really well. I'm happy to share them with anybody who uses Gridline and wants them. It's a figured file in Fusion that automatically generates the grid, and will go from ER16 and PG10 to PG25 and ER32.
Hell yeah. That's hot.
Those I'm very happy with them. They fit super, super nice. Like, they fit perfectly in there.
Nice.
Big shout out, and this is obviously, I think a lot of people think that we're sponsored by Frasia, but we just really like their tools. And Joel sent me one of those SX HDC 6 flute tools to try out. Like, we've been using the MFCs as like our ramping end mill, roughing end mill in stainless, and he was like, "Oh, you got to try one of these." And they're 6 flute. They look like they have no business ramping, and they ramp not as aggressive as the MFCs, but still pretty aggressive. I mean, it's like 5 or 6 degrees in 316, maybe 7 degrees, something like that. And they just rip, dude. I think I used the same one in an entire job of 17.4 parts.
Oh, wow.
An entire job of titanium parts.
Okay.
And then I just yesterday blew off all the corners of that same one in a third stainless job. So it probably had 3 or 4 hours in the cut.
Okay.
If not more.
It's pretty good.
Those parts.
Yeah.
And it was ramping into all of them and doing all that stuff. And like, yeah, I could not believe how well they work. They're expensive, but the performance is there to very much justify it.
Right.
For sure. Like I just wanted to bring that up because I had a bunch of people when I posted on Instagram about it who also reached out and they're like, I've got 5 hours in the cut in 316, or I've got,
yeah.
Or actually, no, it would have been 15 hours that I had in the cut. I wasn't thinking of all the roughing in the titanium that I did. So it would have been 15 or 18 hours in the cut between the stainless jobs and the titanium job.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Really, really like those. Did a full clean out of our bead blast, our vapor hone.
Oh, shit.
In a long time.
Was that gross?
It was super gross. And it was also very easy to realize why we've been getting kind of shitty performance. Because at one point, I thought we were low on beads, but it turns out that like some valve had not been open fully or something like that. And so I dumped in extra beads and they were just like caked in the bottom of the thing. Like sludge fully in the bottom. And we were also getting terrible performance in stainless. Like it was basically not usable in stainless because we were just recycling the top layer of beads so much that they had broken down and we're like super fine.
Yeah.
And the reason I cleaned it out is because I had that stainless job that I first used the Fraser tool in, all needed to be bead blasted. And I was like, well, I really hope that this works out. And it did. Like it works great in 304 and 316 and 17.4 now. Smells a lot better too. Looks a lot better. It's not depositing a bunch of gross stuff on stuff. So
nice.
That's been amazing. Alongside that, our cleaner that I mentioned, the BioCircle stuff, is so good. Brad and I have become so dependent on using that as our last cleaning step because it's so quick, strips all the oils off immediately, smells pretty good, is very human safe as far as cleaners go.
Nice.
Highly, highly recommend that if you're looking for a cleaning solution. Though I have a lid that I designed and had Suncut Sen make. And the amount of condensation on that thing is insane. Like the fact that they were like, oh, we've never seen off gassing like you're talking about. And it's like, either my thing is set up wrong or you're just selling it to giant shops that are like putting it outside or something like that. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was wild to me.
Yeah.
Got those dental loops. Those things are awesome. Want some higher power ones though. I got 3.5 by or 2.5 by. I want 6, I think is the highest you can get. You can get variable like 3 to 6 ones. But those for doing work is so much better than using a normal loop that you would get.
Okay.
Working distance is like 12 or 18 inches. So you can kind of just like sit back in your chair and work at an arm's length. Zebra parts or whatever. You look like a crazy person, as what people saw when I posted it, but so good. So good.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. We've had a million rush parts lately, and like when I say rush, like 2-day turnaround or like 1-day turnaround lately for a couple, and that's been tough. I had that part that that was
crazy.
Longest cycle time I've ever had. I think it was all together with the roughing and finishing, probably 30 hours of both, or like together. Learned a lot there about like if I'm doing a bunch of similar sized features, like I was patterning them, but then I would just like run the entire pattern overnight and then be like, oh, I don't like that. Like I've got chatter, I've got this. And like, it wasn't until the last day that I learned like, oh, why don't I just run a single instance of the pattern until I like it, and then pattern it and run it over to
Right. Yeah.
So that's a good lesson to learn. I was talking to Josh Hacko about that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's what we do." And I was like, "Yeah, I should have done that, but I didn't." But that was really good. I used a alien tool to rough it all out after I broke a Fraser tool that I hand relieved and we put some stress risers into the shank by just like quickly relieving it.
Right.
That thing lasted 11 hours in the cut in 17.4.
Okay.
Straight. That was really cool.
Really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a 3mm tool sticking 20 meters of reach.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was great. It was really, really nice. That part also stress tested my computer, and I had to buy a bunch more RAM. I don't know if it was the part itself. I don't know.
Yeah.
If the geometry was dirty, but just generating 3 of the geodesic like root tool paths that were going to get patterned were taking up 64 gigs, all of my 64 gigs at the same time. And if I tried to generate anything else, it would kill them all with a memory allocation error. And so it was like midnight, and I rage bought 192 gigabytes, which is the max that my motherboard can support.
Yeah. And still used a fucking lot of it.
Yeah, at one point I generated those 3 geodesic toolpaths and then 2 steep and shallow toolpaths at the same time, and it used 142 gigabytes before it leveled off. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
What was crazy though too is that the more RAM I had, the more my computer utilized my CPU. So like when I was generating those 3 geodesics the night before, I would see maybe spikes into like the 60-70% of the CPU. And then generating the same 3, once they had more RAM to run away with, I was peaking at 100%.
Yeah.
I've never seen that in Fusion or on my computer.
Make it faster at all? Was it faster?
Yeah. It was faster. And despite it being slower memory, because the AMD stuff, it's tough to get higher clock speed memory to work. I don't know what the function is there as far as like switching cams go, because that was a big thing that kept echoing in my head of like, well, hyperMill would have done this faster. I've got hyperMill coming out next month for 3 days. We're doing on-site training because I just can't do it. Like I can't do it myself right now. We're too busy. And then every time I try to go do it myself, I'll run into like a tiny thing that's taking me a long time, and I'll just, rage quit and be like, all right, I just need to get this going. I don't have time to like sit here and dick around for an hour on what kind of tool do I build in the database, or like, how do I get this to connect, or like any of that crap. And so Udai is coming out for 3 days. I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
Get the, first hyperMill part run on the Hermle, get going on that, get all my templates ready. And that way, when the new machine comes here, I can actually use it.
Yeah. Is it just going to be for you, or is Brad also getting in on the hyperMill stuff?
It's just going to be for me.
Okay.
We're way too busy to have either of us be slow. And so like definitely both of us can't be slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the plan has always been to get me up and running in hyperMill, create all the templates, macros, all that stuff, and then send him to training when we want to bring him on board. Like for now, he's going to be using Fusion to program the current Hermle once I'm running the Flex.
Nice.
And also like, I think that gives him a very accessible way into 5-axis. Like if he had to learn 5-axis methodology alongside an entire new cam that is not user friendly, I think that he might lose his mind. I know for sure.
Yeah.
So I
and a new control on top of that.
New control, which by the way, he has gone to training now. So he went out 2 weeks ago to training for the week at so he actually knows TNC7 better than I do at this point. He's like, cool. But they're very similar. Like he's seen.
Yeah, he said, I'm the expert. And you're like, all right, here we go.
All right, man, you're running it then. Bye.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more things. Sold the MR2 yesterday. Super stoked on that.
Yeah.
Sad to see it go, but it's going to a guy who's actually going to complete the project. Super stoked on it. And like, I'm just happy to be rid of that constant reminder of like a project that I no longer wanted, and it's just like kind of weighing on me. So I'm very excited.
Did he take the K motor too?
He took everything.
Oh, sick.
He bought the whole package.
That's
very
awesome.
clear. And when he first reached out, he was like, I'm not sure if I want the project or if I want to make it, good, like just good as it is, or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, totally understand. I'm only selling everything. This is the price. I'm firm on it. And he was like, oh, okay. And like he kept trying on our initial visit, he kept trying to like bring down the price, but not be like super confrontational about it. Was like, oh, it's like my friends keep telling me I'm getting gypped out for that much. Like, it is a lot of money and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You're like, all right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he came back one time and like I realized he had like opened the gas tank and smelled it. And so I assumed that it smelled like good gas, but it's been sitting for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then he came over because he really wanted to see it run, and we got it cranking, and it's tried to start with starter fluid in the intake.
Yeah.
But then I smelled the gas tank. I'm like, oh dude, that's varnish. Like it's just not going to start with that. Like, there's some like stuff you can either drop the tank and clean it out, or there's stuff you can run, like drain all the varnish and then just run like, system cleaner and replace the fuel filter after a little bit. I was like, but either way, like we're not going to get it to start. And he's like, all right, well that's enough. That's fine. Let's just plan on when I come to get the car. I'm like, oh, sick. All right, we're done then.
Cool. Sick.
Yeah. 2 last things. Justin's Speedio filter is awesome. Anybody who has an S700 and doesn't have a conveyor, you should get one. It is so worth it. It keeps your tank so much cleaner. Changing out the filter paper is really not that hard with it. Highly, highly, highly recommended. It's on SendCut Send's marketplace now. I'll try to find a link and put that in the show notes. And if I forget, then please just go reach out to Justin. Or I think you can probably just search it on their marketplace and get it. It works fantastic though. It really does.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to plug that because we do so much surfacing and small end mills and stuff that like our tank, especially on the S700, would fill with fines. And then all of a sudden we're like, why are we filling the machine every 2 days? And then you go and clean it out and you're like, oh, because 50% of it was fines. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good for your pumps.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They love it. It definitely doesn't scream.
No.
All right. Well, that's my last update for now. This one, actually, I was reading my list off of if it'll open up. I got one of those remarkable moves, the new small.
Oh, yeah.
Because I needed a place for notes. I like it. There's some software stuff that like I've reached out. I like sent a suggestion into their support because there's some like things that to me seem super obvious, especially coming from like Obsidian.
Right.
It doesn't do like you can't link. At least I haven't been able to find a way to link between notes. Like I would love to have a scheduled notebook and then have hyperlinks to like, oh, on Friday, here's Friday's page. And it's like broken out with all the things I need to do.
Right.
And then there was something, like I think it's because they've only had full page ones, but you can't, at least I can't find a way to set the default zoom on a page. So like every time I go back out to the main menu and then go into a page, it defaults back to like the 50% zoom out or maybe the 100% zoom in, whatever it does. And I always have to zoom in, and like because it's an e-ink tablet, like it's kind of slow to detect multi-touch to like zoom in and move around anyway. And I'd much rather just like keep it at the zoom I was last in there when I was writing on it. Like that makes the most sense to me. I don't know why I would want to zoom out anyway. So anyway, besides those little nitpicks, so far I really like it. It does feel very good writing on it. Like the texture on the screen plus the marker it comes with feels great. It's been nice to have some place that I can just write lists on and stuff like that. I find for episodes, like I did it for Devon's and now for this, like having a list of stuff I can turn to rather than having to put it in the show notes.
Right.
I'm not always around on a computer, whereas like this, I keep with me most of the places I go, and I can just quickly whip it out, write down a note, and then close it up. But we'll see. You have 100 days with them to try them out and return them. So
interesting.
I'll let people know over the next 3 months whether I like it or not, and then we'll go.
That's really quite a quite a trial period. That's nice.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get into some questions.
Let's
From
do
the
it.
Patreon, Christopher Schneider says, can you guys talk about your experience machining plastics? Have you guys used Mighty Bites or Talon Jaws for holding onto raw stock or softer materials like UHMW? Any other tips you have for work holding plastic parts? Thanks.
Not really with like Mighty Bites. They tend to be like, I mean, especially with soft stuff, you can, I mean, the digging is nice, but like depending on the size of the part, those things put a lot of force. You can really deform the fuck out of the material. I guess partly depends on what the part is shaped like. I've done like this, like, when I did I don't even know how to describe the part. It looked kind of like a fucking, what was it? Like a snowboard, like clip-in thing, where it was just like kind of tall and hollow. And what we ended up doing for that was like we machined the bottom and like tapped a bunch of holes into it, and then made a dovetail out of aluminum that we bolted to it. So we could machine the part in a very free condition, you know. Plastic just moves a lot. Like it's just a mover, and you just have to be careful. Like it sounds kind of whack, but it's like, yeah, you just gotta be careful with it.
We'll use Sarah Jaws for thicker material, or like Delrin. We find it totally fine for first stops, as long as you definitely want to like pre-bite with the jaws and then back off and snug into the bites. You don't want to be like, because it will just warp on you like crazy otherwise.
Yep.
We found a annealing plastic to work incredibly well.
That's right.
Shout out to Mickey for that suggestion along. You can get annealing temperatures and all that stuff from Bodecker. They have a good reference document. That's helped a lot, though. You will find out very quickly how much plastic can move when you stress relieve it. Like we leave almost a 1/4 inch on parts on Delrin parts when we stress relieve them, because we've seen them move 180 thou before.
Holy shit.
Depending on how much you're taking out of them. Tape and glue works fantastic if you're just doing prototyping. Vacuum works great. A lot of the times, though, like if it just depends on the part. A lot of the times, though, you're gonna have to add that third op to a 2-op part just to rough it, flip it over, rough and finish, flip it over, finish.
Yeah.
Depending on your tolerances, depending on your part material, blah 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 blah. Yeah, but I think it really just depends. We use the Talon grips anytime we have plastic that we can hold on to that's rigid enough. UHMW, I think we've used it on, but like UHMW just sucks the machine anyway. So
yeah, the classic answer of it kind of depends.
Yeah, well, it's just tough to like encapsulate all of machining plastics. So far, everything we've annealed has really helped. Any of the harder plastics you can definitely use Talon grips on, but you're gonna have to like bite, release, snug it up. You're not gonna want to just crank on it and then hope for the best. And then like I said, tape and glue and vacuum work very well if you have the surface area for them.
Right.
Yeah. So I think the answer is that. Zach Pennington asked, other than milling soft jaws to hold onto round stock and a self-centering vise, is there any good chuck or top tooling that fits the 96 millimeter spacing?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if Lang does.
Yeah, Lang has their Vasto clamp, I believe it's called.
Lang has the HWR has chucks. Shunk has chucks. I don't know if the Shunk ones are 96 millimeter or not. But I know Lang and HWR both have 96 millimeter chucks for this very thing. You know.
So there's the Vasto 6-jaw chuck from Lang. HWR, I can't remember what theirs is called, but they have one too. Lang makes an ER 40 or 50 one for smaller round bar. I think HWR might as well.
Yeah, the Inno line from HWR.
Right.
They have 4-jaw chucks, a lot of 4-jaw stuff, 6-jaw stuff. Yeah. Chunk has some interesting shit.
Yeah. But to answer the question, there's a lot of it. Yeah. So Lang has 52 and 96. I guess they're both on 52. So you need a 52 to 96 adapter, but they have ER15 and ER30 call at ones. I think Fifth Axis probably has something as well as far as call it holding goes. And then Lang and HWR both have actual chucks. The 6-jaw one from Lang, they're like quick change jaws. You can do soft jaws on it. You can do hard jaws. They have step jaws, blah, 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 blah. Like you can really option it how you want and how you need to with those.
Yeah.
I have heard very good things about it. We have one, but haven't used it yet. And I'm excited to use that at some point.
Oh, the HW, I was looking at their lathe stuff. The solid chuck, 3-jaw, 96 millimeter. Yep.
Oh, and it's also worth bringing up too that you can get with Lang, and I assume probably HWR has something similar. You can get stamping jaws and jaws for the vices that are for round stock.
And
so you stamp, they're like little triangle pieces that stamp kind of at a 45 into the stock in the stamping unit, and then you have jaws that interface with that stamp.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
That's probably the most secure way to hold Op 1 stuff, I would say.
Right.
All right. John, at the shop, dude, when are the cinnamon roll recipe going to be released to the public?
I thought I don't know. I mean, I can post it. I'll post it. We could put it in the show, I guess, in the show notes or whatever.
Sure.
The description.
Yeah.
You
can definitely do that.
Didn't I give it to you?
No, you said you were going to, and then you never
No
did.
way. I'm pretty sure I did. I'll have to check.
Maybe I'm the dick.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, these things happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, no problems.
Okay.
I'll do a bake along or whatever. I'll go live. Go live with the metal classes. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Sequoia Manufacturing, how do you organize your email or Outlook? Any other tips besides rules or templates? How do you organize multiple email addresses?
Well, the last part, I don't. I really only use the one email address. And then, I mean, it is just rules and templates and folders, That's just kind of all I do for the most part to try and get the main inbox to be just stuff that matters. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I don't even use folders that much, but I do. It's not inbox 0 because I have a million things in my inbox, but I don't leave unread things in my inbox. Like if you go to my email, there's 0 unread.
Right.
I either delete it or I create a plan around, like I create a task around it. But like that's how I deal with that. I think the only folders I have were to filter out all of the dumb Fusion emails. That's like Brad has updated this file because I'm the owner of those files, because typically I'm the one uploading them from paperless, and that got unreasonably. It got me unreasonably angry.
It was sometimes it's updating you like a lot more than they're actually updating it, where it's like you're getting blasted with like 6 to 8 emails for like one thing, and you're like, what the fuck is what is going on over there? What are you doing?
It's like, I don't need to know when it updates the tool library. I don't need to, and like I know that we both have the habit of saving before simulating, because that seems to be the most crash prone time in CAM.
Yeah.
And so like he might save a part 30 times over 2 days before he, like, as he's running it, and it's like, dude, I'm not gonna get 30 emails. I'm done. Like, just don't. So I created a rule for that, and those go into a folder that does not notify me and does not count.
Right.
Fuck it. That's really how I do it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Emery asked, what's better, to spend your efforts on vertical integration versus building better vendor relationships?
I don't like vertical integration in terms of like
bringing things in house. So like, either do you find a good anodized vendor, or do you bring anodize in house? Do you find a good passivate vendor, or do you bring passivation in house?
I guess that would depend on like volume of these things, you know? Like if you're anodizing a lot, I mean like it's such like a weird curve of like the whole bell curve of it all is like if you're doing a lot of anodizing, like a fuckload of it, it does like there's a certain point where it makes sense for you to do it all yourself. But also like one step down from that is like having a really good vendor who's just like an expert at it is really good, and creating that relationship probably gets you better turnaround and better quality than trying to like fire it up in house, you know? And I think there's like I would say a very good example of this for you yourself. And like, well, for you is like you just don't do turning work. You create vendors to do that, right? Because you don't really get asked to do it. But if you do as part of a package, you have other shops like that you just send that work to, right?
Exactly.
And like for me with like automation stuff, we just shoot that off to somebody else. Like we'll work with a company on like the cutting aspect of it, but like our aspirations 3-4 years ago to like do all of it, like just didn't make sense because like we're not doing enough of it, and like trying to build that shit in house is just like it's like we're not going to like overnight compete or be as good as somebody like Lights Out Manufacturing. So like why not let them handle it, and then we'll do what we're good at. This is kind of same type of thinking with people that are like, oh, I'm going to do all the automation myself because I need to learn how to do this. And it's like, you fucking don't, you know, like you can just, can, it's like,
oh, it's make parts, or are you wanting to learn automation?
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's going to be cheaper. I got a fucking deal, whatever. And it's like, you didn't, because now you just have to dedicate yourself or somebody's time to doing that instead of like working on the core of the business. So, right. I mean, I think in general, like I don't know. There's probably no like actual rule of thumb for it, but it's like if the core of the business is like well handled and like taken care of, which is kind of like an arbitrary thing in general, then I think you can start like branching out, you know, into like, all right, we like, for instance, like I'll just use like you as an example is like you lock in like 5-axis machining to a point where like in 5-axis prototyping where it's like quote unquote automatic. Then you can kind of like maybe now that this is like handled, like we can think about getting in like bringing in lathes or whatever to like start to be able to do the whole package ourselves or whatever, you know.
That's exactly
but I think the dependent
about it too.
Yeah, the dependency of it all is I mean, the thing that like tends to kill companies, I would say, is like trying to grow too big too fast, and like you start to like move away from your core competency to grow, and then now you create problems in the thing that you're good at and problems in the thing that you're not good at, and like there's just fires everywhere. And from like my personal anecdotal experience, focusing on what you're good at obviously is going to be the best path to making a lot of money, especially if things go sideways. If things go sideways in the shit that you're like growing, like that causes a lot of fucking headaches and can really challenge the business as a whole and like threaten the core competency of the business by just by virtue of like being inherently risky, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it depends on the size and maturity for your shop on what you should be bringing or even thinking about bringing in house. And I know that there's like extenuating circumstances for a lot of people where they're like, every anodized vendor in 100-mile radius of me sucks and has damaged parts. I have to bring these in house. And it's like, okay, I understand that. It sucks. But like, I guarantee if you ask any of those people, like if you had a qualified vendor that didn't suck around you, would you still be doing this? And they'd be like, nope. I would dump my tanks immediately and I would send all my anodized back out, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Nobody at a small size wants to be doing all that extra shit to get parts out.
Yeah.
His other question was, his shop is going all active collision monitoring, so Akuma CAS and TNC7 DCM. Is it a wasted effort, or are they future-proofing and making the machines easier to onboard people? Is there such thing as too many safeties when talking about machines and spindles?
No, I don't think it's wasted effort. Like if you get it, if you can get the onboard collision working well. I mean, I think that there's the step ahead of that. I don't know how those systems work necessarily, if it's like purely on the control or if you have
So
offline.
those are like you add models and all that stuff.
Right.
You can push them to the machine
And so
runs checks constantly.
I would still want something like Camplete or like Machine Sim and Cam to like have a higher degree of confidence before getting it on the machine, but like being able to then do those like theoretical checks with stuff that's in your, like using actual machine data for the same thing. I don't see that as a wasted effort at all. It's just like a redundancy. Like, does it help onboard? I don't necessarily. Maybe, you know, I don't know. There is like a weird. There's a weird thing with building like too many like systems to make things easy, where like now that everything is very easy, people tend to get very lax, and like you can start to make like mistakes that shouldn't be made can be made in like a weird way. Like I don't know if that necessarily makes I think the onboarding would be easier. I don't know if you end up teaching if you're able to teach the right skills at the same time. And like there's just a different process, or there's a different process to onboarding that way. But I mean, I'm trying to get like almost every customer that I can to like use Camplate all the time, you know, especially if the machine is available, because there's just like a certain safety aspect of it. Like when we were doing the project in Morgan Hill, like it was an 8-hour cycle time, you know? I wasn't going to watch 8 hours of that fucking part run. So like we just went through when we were setting it up, like with a fine tooth comb, and like ran it through Camplete, made sure everything was there, and just like put it on the machine, let it fucking run overnight, because like we had a really high degree of confidence that it was going to run. So having that same check on the control, yeah, sick. That's better. That's even better. I still want like my simulation to happen before that as well.
Right. I think the big thing there is how fast are you having to turn things around, and like how much are you relying on being able to just send something to the machine and have it run overnight without issue? Because for me, we're not considering DCM and dealing with that, because hyperMill has really good simulation and all that. And like the last thing I would want is two systems fighting each other, to where like hyperMill is like, yep, good to go, run it. And it is good to go. But then like maybe my collision setting is slightly different in DCM. Maybe it's looking for like a 1.5 millimeter collision distance, and I have hyperMill set to 1 millimeter, and I forget about that. And then it stops because it thinks that there's going to be a collision.
And that's a really...
I come the next day, I'm like, oh, cool, I lost 10 hours because DCM was too conservative. And like you can set all that up and stuff, but I think that at some point the systems are going to interpret data differently.
Yes.
And you kind of, I don't know. Like I want all the safety I possibly can. And so like I'm very torn, but like I think at some point you're going to have multiple systems fighting, and you need a single source of truth. But I don't know. I really don't. I'm not. Don't take this as advice either way.
Like I wonder if there's like a we're just like theorizing here, but if like your DCM was set at like something crazy small, you know, or where it was like only catching like the most extreme cases, and then you were just mostly focusing on hyperMill, how that would work. But it is something that I think you're right. It like, as you build that system up, you're going to probably get a lot of like false negatives or false positives or whatever in terms of collision, and like just have things. I mean, we see this with load monitoring all the time, you know, on like lathes or whatever, where it'll be like, oh, like it spiked like now I'm stopping. And this thing that you put in to like try and protect yourself is actually just like fucking you, you know?
Mhm.
And it gets very frustrating, but it's like that is like a dialing in process. And I think as long as you're willing to like put in the work to like this, I mean, just like with anything, if you're willing to put in the willing to accept that you will lose nights of production and like prototyping and whatever, which is like to your point of like you don't have that luxury. Maybe this person does. Like
Right. Well, and that's the thing is like if they're doing production on their HSFlex and their Akumas, then who cares? Like you're going to set it up once and then it'll be fine. And like it's going to be checking tool lengths and all that stuff. And that will be great. That'll be fantastic extra reliability, especially as you're changing out tools as they wear out on the same job and all of that. Like the last thing you want is a too short tool on something you've already simulated and all that. And like DCM and CAS will catch that. And I think that that's fantastic. But if you're having to run quick and dirty and you're using it for high mix, low volume stuff,
yeah,
I worry that it's going to end up creating a bunch of hassle, at least in the short term.
Yeah. There's like, yeah, where it's like your machine sim should be good enough at that point, you know?
Yeah. All right. Last up, Nick Ackerman asked, what advice would you give to a person who's moving to a new shop? I accepted a job offer and the place is everything advanced, almost all large 5-axis DMG Moris. He has experience with programming in Mastercam and running and programming DMG 5-axis, but that was 8 years ago. He told them that it's been 8 years since he's done those things and they still offer the job. It was also a $10 an hour bump. I feel like I'm in over my head. Any advice?
I think it's good that you feel in over your head. Like, cause like that's like, I mean, you've done everything that you should do, which is like you had the experience, you weren't lying to them about when the last time you did this with, like you have some level of like trepidation with it. And like, that's about as good as it can get. Like they know that you've done it and they probably, but it's been a while. So that my assumption would be that they're expecting to hold your hand a little bit. And the fact that you haven't done it in a while and you're like feeling like a little like, overwhelmed is good because you're not going to go into it gung ho. So, I mean, I guess the best thing I could say really is like 2 ears, 1 mouth situation. Like, you know, absorb as much as you can, ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And like, I mean, to a certain extent, don't be afraid to fuck up. Just don't crash too hard, I guess, you know?
Right.
And just like get after it. Like, don't play scared is the other, like, don't be afraid. Like, just like, I don't know how to say that better, but like, yeah, I mean, you should, do you know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I was going to say something very similar. Like, be rapid with your education. Like, be overwhelmingly positive about learning everything that they'll teach you, and that will go a long way. And then also, for me, I think being open and honest and like over communicate the entire way. Like, if they hand you something and you're not sure about it, say that. Like, you know, say like, I'm happy to learn this, but like, I'm not sure how to do this. Can someone help me along? Because like the thing that will get you in trouble at jobs like this is like you saying, them giving you something that's way over your head, you being like, oh yeah, I'll figure it out. And then taking 10x what they expected, or crashing a machine because you didn't know what you were doing. Or, and like, I'm not saying to like, you know, force them to hold your hand for the first year or a few months or whatever, but I'm just be over communicate with them so that they know when you're uncomfortable. They know when you're out of your depth, and like they know that you might need a little bit of hand holding, or you might need somebody looking over your shoulder, so that you can succeed. Like, because you guys all want the same thing. They want to make money off of you and like have you succeed. You want to succeed so that you can keep this new job and be happy. So just come at it like from that perspective of like, give them all the information they need. The thing that would piss me off if I hired somebody who was like, hey, I haven't run Fusion in 5 years, but I can learn it. And then for me to give them something and then being like, oh yeah, no worries. And then like for me to check in every day. Oh yeah, I'm having just this little problem. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this. Oh yeah, this, and like then it's 2 weeks later and they're like, I just don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
And like if
that
they
is
just said that
very
at the beginning,
frustrating.
then I could have planned around it.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I would suggest. But it sounds like an awesome opportunity. Congrats.
Yeah. Sounds sick. Wait, hold on. There was one more. The Rapid City CNC, thoughts on the MX420? This is an easy one. They're great.
Oh yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Like the 420 is exactly the same as the 330, right? Just bigger pallets.
No, actually, it's the exact same size pallet. It's they made the pallet system a little bit 1 foot wider to accommodate more space. But the machine, it's the exact same machine as the 330. It just has a bigger pallet system, and like integration's awesome. They make good parts. They just fucking work. Yeah, easy, done. You'll love it.
All right. Do you have a tip or trick from this week?
Not really. I was mostly like head down in like hyperMill, so it's kind of just like no tips or tricks from me on that front, because I'm like fairly new to it. So just kind of like not learning, but like was just like working through that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not sure if I do either. Like this last few weeks have been kind of a blur. Maybe I guess like the thing that it's not a tip, but something that I'm like learning especially as I was running like the Hermle overnight for many nights in a row.
Yeah.
Was I thought I was being conservative, but like I needed to be even more conservative on my roughing so that like I could make sure to get through that entire operation. So, like coming in the first day after roughing and pre-finishing what I thought all night, I lost 11 hours of machining because it broke halfway down the part.
Yeah.
And thankfully it broke in a place that I could, it didn't break with the tool still in it, didn't break with any carbide in it, didn't break and like gouge a wall. But I just need to be even more conservative and more intelligent about my choices when I'm dealing with things that long. And I think that's going to serve me well as I go into like trying to negotiate a 10-hour overnight cycle or something like that.
Right. It's the thing that we've touched on this a bunch, and like even I think like on this latest lean build, maybe like now that Andrew Henry has his like pallet system, it's one of those things that like you're, especially in your case, like you're never going for optimized anyway. So like it's just like what is the like straight down the middle meatball path to this, like even if it takes a couple hours longer, but like I don't have to think about it, is so huge.
Yeah. And I guess the other one was the one I talked about earlier. Like if you're doing a part with an array of many of the same features, test and test and test on one and then array them. And like that will prove to you that it's good to go and good to run for that long. I don't know why, like saying it out loud, it's like, yeah, no shit, Dylan. Like that's the obvious way to do this. And I think I was just in such a rush and trying to get it running because it was going to run for, my finishing was like 17 hours or like something like that. It's like, I just wanted to get this running, and it like kept getting later and later at night. That I just didn't think about it. But yeah, like test on one, then array the rest of them and run the rest of them. All right, man. What have you been researching this week?
What have I been researching this week? Fuck. I guess it was just mostly hyperMill stuff because I've been deep diving into hyperMill lately. So just kind of like getting into like the little nuances, mostly remembering all the training and stuff that we did like a fucking year ago, It's like, but muddled through a hyperMill part for a customer. That wasn't too bad. Yeah. And really that's kind of it. Like this week has been, I don't know. It fucking feels like a blur. Like the last few months have just been like a blur of like not doing a lot of like fun, cool shit, so to speak. Mostly just head down, getting a lot of the work done, which is annoying, but There's a lot of things I would like to be doing, but it's just whatever.
Right. The things I've been researching this week, I'm trying to get. We have a spare compressor piece.
Yeah.
We have a spare compressor that we've had for about a year now and have not hooked up. But we're going to with the Flex because like we need the redundancy for overnight runs.
Yeah.
And I found out through looking at their manual that I can actually hook both compressors up with an RS 458 cable, which is just cable. Like you just hook 3 pins to the other 3 pin on the other compressor, but you could have them automatically run in master slave configuration.
Oh, cool.
Talk to each other, and the slave will know I'm only allowed to kick in if the master has been like pumping for this long and hasn't reached pressure. And then you can have them automatically switch to every however many hours of on time, which one's
that's cool.
Which one's slave. And so you get like the constant
you're not overworking one of them. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so I've been trying to do that and then also figure out how to then remote start the master or remote start both of them. Using like Home Assistant and something. But Eaton, I love their compressor. I really have had great luck with them. They build a great product. Their sales and support team, how do I say this? They're not unhelpful. Like their sales team has been completely unhelpful. Their salesman, I think his name is Nick, is like the most unhelpful person I've ever dealt with at the company. Like I have gotten multiple emails now where I've asked him a question and he's just responded with like, literally word for word, I don't know, dude. I just sell these things.
Nice.
And most recently, he said, I don't know, dude. I just sell these things. Here's the phone numbers of the 2 departments for support. And I'm like, can you just include them on the email back to me so that they can see this? And he was like, here's their emails. I'm like, cool. All right. Thanks, dude. You suck at your job. I really hope you know that you suck at your job. And then their support guy, I've talked to him on the phone before. Super, super nice guy. Kind of an older guy. And I've had to email him 3 times now. And every time he's like forgotten a little piece, like a document. Like I'm like, hey, how do I do remote start? And he's like, here you go. Here's a document on it. But the document references wires coming out of the control, but doesn't tell me what the numbers are of the wires actually in their machines. And I'm like, do you have a wiring diagram? And he's like, oh yeah, here you go. And then the most I still have to email him again because his wiring diagram is like, oh, it's wire 12. And I'm like, cool. Okay. You know what isn't on my fucking machine? Wire 12. It goes from 11 to 13. So where is 12? It's supposed to be shorted somewhere, but like, you want to tell me where it is?
Right.
So anyway,
he's like, oopsies.
It has been very frustrating, but we will get it. I will chain both of these together, get them all working remote. I'm going to maybe try to find some pressure sensors that I can then report to Home Assistant to, so I can start tracking and logging all that stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just been a little bit like pulling teeth trying to get the information that I need out of them.
Sounds kind of annoying.
Yeah. Alrighty, man. I got to get back and make some more parts before the end of the day. Wonderful to catch up with you.
Absolutely.
Especially, I think this is the longest we've been without a catch-up episode in a while. So thanks.
Not for Mark. Not for Mark. Trying. We tried.
Yeah, but it was my fault though. But I kept having to reschedule. Thank you to all the listeners who were so patient with me as I took up about a 3-week break from releasing episodes. I was just working, 80 hours, 90 hours a week, and just could not step away long enough to record with Zap or anybody else. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Zap, for joining me. Thanks to everyone for listening, and I will be back next week.